Okay, so I've been kind of kicking around the idea of doing some repair videos among some other things. I figured I'd just kind of take some of these in parts because a couple of them are pretty involved, and they're going to take a number of days to complete. So I'll start with this one I'm working on right now. I had an Epiphone Les Paul come in, and as you can see, the headstock was broken off. Now, this, when I received it, it was not the first time it broken. This is not the first repair. In fact, it had been repaired before, and honestly, it was pretty sloppy. For lack of a better word, there's a lot of adhesive. The fingerboard was ramped up at the nut edge there because of the all the stuff that was under the board. It was just gunk together basically, and then kind of backyard painted and stuff. Now, what I told the customer we were going to do, just to kind of do something different, was I was going to re-glue the fingerboard and everything, re-glue the headstock, and really to kind of try to make it look good, I was going to fill any of the holes as well as I could, re-glue and reinforce the headstock so it didn't go anywhere, and basically I'd have all the finish off of the neck and kind of like tongue oil it. I did that previously with this other guitar, this Legator Ninja that I got. Now, when I received this guitar, the headstock was broke from here to here. I mean, clean off. The only thing holding this piece in the case was the string. Okay, so what I did was I took all the paint, everything off, and then and there was chips missing and everything. It came in shipping that way, so who knows on what crazy desert island those pieces of guitar headstock sit. But I ended up filling as well as I could with wood filler and everything. It took a number of times to build it up to where I could sand it down to where it was still uniform. And then once I finished that, I just kind of roughly painted it to make it look good. And I've had a number of people asking me since I repaired it, how did it hold together? And I've been playing it for a few months now, and I'm really not having any real issues. In fact, I plan on using it for some gigs coming up later this year, maybe even next year, playing some thrash stuff. But it actually worked pretty well. You can see it's not 100% perfect. There's like a little, you can see where the filler would be there, but based on how it was, I just wanted it to play again. I wanted the guitar. I wanted a set neck Legator V, so I wanted to get that running, and I was willing to do whatever it took to make it happen. Now, and I did like same thing here. Now, this was like a satin finish neck kind of thing. It was a faux wood grain, because once I started stripping that down, I thought the neck was too fat. So I started taking the material off, and there was a clear coat and a bunch of other stuff there, and it wasn't even the actual like wood grain underneath. It's like they'd painted something on like wood grain. I think the Chinese factories do this, and some of the other factories might do this. But so I ended up stripping it down, and basically how I stripped it was I took a razor blade, just a straight like knot in the knife utility blade, set the thing on my lap, and just patiently went at it, shaped the neck that way. I didn't use anything like really special, for tools, but I just took my time and really worked on getting the neck profile the way that I wanted it. Now it's nice and relatively thin, and it's still stable. It doesn't it doesn't move a lot, and it stays in tune, which is what you want. But that's that story. That's kind of what got me started on some of these more serious deals. Now this Epiphone, on the other hand, I've been kind of struggling with how to take the fingerboard off. I know there's a number of methods, and it's I'm kind of primitive with what I have for tools and everything, so I just make do, which isn't ideal, I know. But what I started doing was I took a utility knife and was working at going up both sides, you know, say like this, holding the guitar like this and coming at both angles and pushing down, you know, every so often, seeing if I get motion. And I was really getting stuck past the original break. It wasn't taking. But then I experimented a little bit, and what I found quickly, and this reason I'm doing this video is I wanted to get it moving. I took this really solid, like basically it's a magnet for picking up screws, but the shaft of it is extremely solid. It's not very thick. And I slid that in here like this and just gave it a little roll until I started to hear it give way. And I'm going to keep doing that. I can, right there. Now, as it's doing that, I go back to the other method I was using with this and just kind of nudge it along, you know, just give it a little bit extra something to get it moving, you know. I will have to, when I'm done, make sure the fingerboard's flat and everything as I reinstall it, because that's going to be something I want to watch. I don't want it to end up curved. I might have to steam it or something to get it back into the shape I need to have it playable. But this right here has been, I was stuck at like fret. I was at the 4th fret and I was between the 4th and 5th frets as far as how far down I was. Now I'm clear up to the, I made it clear into the 7th fret now, as far as where we're at with the neck coming, the fingerboard coming off the neck. And it's just one of those things that's going to take time, because if you force it, that fingerboard is just going to shatter and you're going to have to replace it. Well, not shatter, but break, you know. I don't want to have to replace the fingerboard. It saves the customer money, and it saves me putting in frets and everything else. I mean, this is a pretty involved repair anyway, without having to remake a fingerboard for the guitar. I'm not looking forward to doing that, so I'm just going to keep kind of slowly wiggling away at this until I get some progress. Now, I'm going to keep doing this off camera for a while, and I will share updates. Even if I break it, I'll share it, you know, whatever, I don't care. Just to let you know kind of how this goes, because it's interesting, you know. I'm actually, I look at a lot of videos online and watch a lot of repair videos and get a lot of info that way, so I might as well share it too, you know. But this is going to be one of those kind of all day type deals once I get going, you know. And that's just how it is. You have to be so patient with this stuff. And honestly, you know, until I started like teaching guitar and stuff, I was never very patient, you know. And I've kind of learned that I just need to take a step back and do what really has to happen, what's necessary to make the things work, you know. Yeah, we're actually, I guess we're into 1, 3, 5, so yeah, fret 7. Just why push it, you know, take your time, because if you go too fast, it's just ruined, and there's no point in doing that for yourself or for the, you know, whoever you're working on the guitar for, you know. Yeah, but just so you can kind of get an idea here, I don't know if you can see it or not, but in there is like this whole first part, there's whatever adhesive the other guy had used when he repaired this, just gunked in there, and it's like hard and sticks up, and it never allowed the fingerboard to properly sit flat. It's on both sides, and my plan was, once I got them both off too, was just to sand everything uniform, flat, you know, so there was a tight joint, but it's not there now. It hasn't been for some time, and I think it was at one point strung up, but I mean, that's a nasty break. There's a lot of material missing there, so I think ultimately I'll be some doing some reinforcement with maybe some screws or something too, but it really just wasn't done very well. But then again, who knows? You know, I've made mistakes in the past, like trying to put guitars together and stuff, and learning how to do it. You know, I'd take a cheap guitar and try to do something, you know, out of my depth, and end up in a bad spot. But that's how you learn, you know. So you can't be so scared to put your feet in the water that you never go swimming. You know, this is one of those things. So I'll be back probably tomorrow, maybe the next day, depending on how this goes, with an update to let you know what happens.